This is the new Hobart model HS6N slicer, just introduced. This particular model, the HS6, is a manual slicer. Manual means that the carriage moves back and forth manually by hand. An automatic version would be the HS7, and that's one where the carriage can actually go back and forth mechanically. But this is the manual. This is probably the #1 selling slicer that Hobart manufactures, this HS6. Couple of things about it. We'll start up top with the sharpening. The sharpening stone or attachment consists of two Barazon steel stones. These are steel versus an actual stone. That allows us to submerge this in water to wash it. So we actually sharpen the blade with steel on steel versus a stone on steel. So it's submersible and cleanable in water. The traditional stones, if you get them wet or dirty, they don't sharpen real well and they need replaced. And to put the proof in it, both of these stones have a lifetime warranty from Hobart. The sharpening, the Barazon steel stones in the sharpening attachment has a lifetime warranty. The other nice thing is when you take the sharpening attachment off, I'll show you a little later, but the entire blade is protected. There's a knife guard over top of where the sharpening attachment attaches. Slips on and off real easy, easy to use, but that's the top mounted sharpener with the Barazon steel stones. For operation, we recommend the slicer be pulled all the way back. You have a meat grip here, which can operate with the forks, the large forks down or the small forks down, either way. The large forks actually allow you to operate this with the adjustable fence intact and the meat grip all the way down. If you have a food product that's larger than this meat grip, this comes all the way back around. It can be left out of place where you put a larger product on here and slice. This slicer is what we call gravity feed, which is why you see the blade and grip are all on an angle that allows the gravity or the weight of the product to keep the product down on the blade when you're slicing. And obviously the larger the blade, typically the more circumference you have and the better the cut. You have a more physical knife to cut through the product. So this is a 13-inch blade. The gauge plate opens to about an inch and a quarter. This indexer is numbered, but it's just basically indexing numbers. It's not any particular dimension, but it's a telescoping blade where when it opens all the way, it opens quickly, and you can adjust. And once you put it on a particular thickness, it stays in place. When you're slicing, you'll get a consistent slice thickness every time based on the design of this gauge plate. The gauge plate, this new style, has a series of grooves that are cut. These grooves reduce the friction so that during the slicing process, it's very, very easy to slice back and forth. As far as cleanability, this is a burnished aluminum base, so the whole base is burnished aluminum. The carriage has a release screw here that allows you to tilt it back for quick cleaning and access to the blade. So you don't have to, it will remove completely, but you can just tilt it back out of the way, giving you the full surface to clean, sharpen, assemble, and unassemble the blade. To take the knife guard off, the new style is magnetic. It just lifts off and up, so there's nothing to twist or turn or unscrew. This is very, very heavy metal. If you drop it on the floor, it's going to stay intact. And again, the same grooves to reduce the friction during the slice process. We also have a removable plastic guard. This actually makes the slicer easier to clean. This catches some food product, but more importantly, allows you to clean around the blade once it's off. And you can see the blade is completely covered, even with a sharpening attachment. This is a permanently mounted knife guard. The meat grip itself, ergonomic. The handle, if you feel it, it forms to your hand. Very easy to move. It's on rubber feet. It's got a smooth on-off button. Very easy to operate. There's an on and an off. There's also a voltage interruption safety mechanism where if it gets unplugged and then plugged back in, the slicer shuts itself off, you have to push start to re-engage the slicer blade.